Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of our Sports Card Tracker series. In this episode, we're going to add the ability to drag and drop a front image and a back image. Now, to prepare for this, I have scanned the backs and fronts of several different cards onto my computer. There is two parts to this. The first part is that we have to drag the image over, and the second part is we have to drop the image. Let's work with dragging the image over to give you a preview of what the image will look like as you drag it over the container. So, table front image dot set drag over. Now this is going to trigger an event. So you want to send that event into a Lambda expression. Now the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the file that is being dragged over the front image is an actual image. So we're going to set up a Boolean. Boolean is image file. We're going to set that to false. Now we need to set up a drag board. Drag board. And I'm just going to call it db equals event dot get drag board. Now we have to add our import. Now this is where we determine whether or not the file is an image file. But before we can do that, we're going to have to create a new constant. Let's go to the top of the class. We're going to create a constant, private static final, and it's going to be of the type list. And we're going to use strings. Constant will be named allowed extensions. And we're going to assign it a list of extensions. So it's arrays list. And we're going to add in here the different extensions that our program is going to allow. Our default file types are going to be .png, .jpg, and one is .jpeg. Now we have to add our imports. So we want to use the java.util list, and we want to use the java.util array. So back to our front image. Here's where we're going to do our check. If dragboard dot this file, we want to check if that file is an acceptable file. Is image equals db.get files stream dot match. And because file names could be different, we want to change any file name to a lowercase file name. File. Send that to a Lambda expression. This is where we change our file name. String name equals dot get name dot to case. Now we want to return, and we want only allowed extensions using our constant extensions dot free any match file name that ends with what's in our allowed list. Spelling mistake here, so we'll correct that. So basically what this is doing is it's taking the file name, converting it to lowercase, and says if the extension is in our allowed extensions, return true. So that would change our is image file to true. If it isn't in our allowed extensions, it will return false. So now that we have set up our is image file, if is image file, this is only done if it's true, event dot accept transfer mode, and we want transfer mode copy. So we want to copy the image file into the container. Else, if it isn't an image file, we want to just discard it. So event dot consume. Now we have to add our import for transfer mode. So that allows us to take an image file and drag it over the front image. So let's compile and run this. Now in our sample images, if I drag an image over our front image, we can see that it allows us to copy. But if I drag it over their back image, because we don't have it set up yet, we get the you can't copy that little icon below the picture. See the difference? Now, if I drag this PDF file, because it's a PDF file, we get the you can't copy little icon. Now we need to be able to actually drop the file onto the container. LBL front image set on drag dropped is going to create an event. I'm going to send it to a Lambda expression. We want to set up a drag board, and I'm going to call it DB. It's going to be given the event.get drag board. Now we want to know whether or not the dropping of the file was successful. So Boolean success equals false. We have to determine if the DB has a file. DB.files. We're going to change success to true. Now we need to process the image file. String image URL equals dragboard dot get files dot get 0 dot to URL dot to string. So that's basically getting the image URL. We need to go and grab that image equals new image, and then we're going to send it that image URL. So now we need to convert the image to an image view. Image view ng equals new image view, and we want to pass that our image. Now we need to add our imports. Now we have our image. We need to set the default width and height of our image. Image.set fit width. And we're going to use the image width and image height of our container. So our fit width is going to be our image width. Image.set fit height. We're going to pass that for image. And we want to preserve our image ratio, image dot set preserve ratio true. Now we want to actually put the image into the image container. LDL front image dot set graphic br image, and we want to set the text in the container to be no text. So we go LBL front image dot text, and we're going to put in there a blank string. Now we want to consume the event, event.consume. We were to compile and run it. Grab my front image. It allows us to copy it. And I let it go. It saves it into our container. That's adding the front image. Let's add the back image. So basically, it's the same code as the front image. LBL back image dot set drag over event, and we'll send that to a lambda expression. Now we have to put in our boolean again. Boolean is image equals. We want to set up our drag board. We're calling it db equals event dot get drag board. So if db dot as files is image file equals db dot get files dot stream dot all match file, we're going to send to a lambda expression. String file name equals file dot get name dot to, and we want to return if it's an allowed extension. Extensions stream any the file name that ends with one of our allowed extensions. So if it is an allowed extension, if is image file, we want to allow the copy of that image file. And transfer modes, and we're going to use transfer mode copy. Else, so if it isn't an image file, we just want to consume the event dot. If it is an image file, we want to allow it to be dropped onto the container. LBL back image dot set on drag dropped. This will trigger an event. We're going to send to a lambda expression. Drag board db equals event dot get drag board. we want to set up our Boolean success equals. So if the dragboard dot files, we want to change success equals to true, and now we want to process the image file. Process string image URL equals db dot get files dot get 0 dot to UR to string. That's getting the image URL. Image equals new image, and we're passing in it the image URL. Now we want to convert this to an image view. Image view mg equals new image view, and we're passing that the image. And like we did with the front image, we want to set up our image width and our image height. Image dot set fit width, image width, and image dot set fit height. We want to set that to the image height, and we want to preserve the image ratio. Image dot set preserve ratio, and we're sending that. And now we want to set our image LDL image set graphic mg, and we want to remove the back image text from the container. LDL back image dot set text, and we want to set that to a null string. Once that's done, we want to consume the event. Let's compile and run it. So as with the front image, you can now see we can copy the image into the back image. Drop our front image to the front, back image to the back. Change the image, drop a new. So this is episode 12. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next time where we add more features to our add new card.